Hello everyone, it's Nady, and today we'll be talking about my favorite and my least favorite beauty items. As you beautiful people know, this is about the products, not the people behind them. Any tiff you may have with them, please cast it away because this is a channel of positive energy. Okay? Thank you. And I hope we don't mind, I am doing a wear time test for this foundation, that's why I'm wearing a little bit of makeup today. But that's okay, I'm kinda digging the look. I also want to say that I absolutely love all of the brands that I'm going to be talking about. I'm not trying to diss anyone or anything, it's just that some of these brands' products, they didn't work for me. Anyways, last time I did a video like this, I did borrow the name Best and Worst of Beauty from one of my all-time favorite YouTubers, Thriftic, and I do really like the name, so as long as it's okay, I'm gonna keep borrowing it, no hate towards anyone. But in her video, she categorizes the products from her least favorite to her favorite, and I'm not gonna do that because honestly, I feel the same way about a lot of these products, so there's just gonna be 3 categories. Which, for my lower ranking products, we have sorry but no, then in the middle we have meh, and then for the top ones we have hell yes. And much like many things in life, I like to start at the bottom and work my way up, so let's start off with the sorry but no's. First up, we have the Pretty Vulgar Make Them Blush blush in the shade Prim Vixen, and it's not that this is a bad blush, it's just that this color sucks ass on me. It is so bright, and no offense to anybody who can rock this, but I am not one of those people. And the pigment is there, but that's also one of the issues that I have, like it applies so heavily to my skin. Like if I want a light dusting of this color, it is impossible to get no matter what brush I use, so it's just too pigmented, and even though the shading is kind of my fault, it just doesn't look good on me. The shading actually isn't my fault. I did get this in a BoxyCharm box, and I mean, it's not a bad blush, it doesn't work for me. And honestly, this product was kind of teetering on the verge of meh for me, but it just didn't make it there. Next up, we have a product that definitely belongs in this category, which is the Too Faced White Peach palette. This little bitch, I do not like this I do not like this palette whatsoever. Like the coloring, it seems like it'd be so pretty, but then once you apply it, it just does not live up to its price whatsoever. Like it smells okay, but it also smells like a chalkboard, and the pigment, it's not really that great. It's not the worst thing ever, but compared to the other Too Faced palettes, this just is so subpar. Really, the only color in here that I don't already have 15 times is Peach Passion. This one right here, like, that's really pretty, but again, I truthfully forgot about this palette and this shade. Sadly, this is one of those products that I do regret buying. I definitely should have looked at the reviews before I bought this, but I'm really glad that we did do a review on here. Next up is, sadly, another flop for me. That is the Becca Ocean Jewels palette. This thing did not live up to its name. Like, I expected it to be so fucking beautiful, but it was honestly just blah. Like, when you think of ocean jewels, do not think of beautiful colors, and instead we get this. Like, it looks like a fucking rock. The pigmentation is okay, but the only mattes you have to work with is this light shade and this brown, and the rest of the shades are just so uninspiring, and there's nothing unique about this at all. Like, I cannot believe I spent my money on this. Which is very, very hard for me to say because Becca is one of those brands that I've looked up to for a long ass time, which is why I kind of thought this would be really fucking good. But unfortunately, the only good thing about this is the packaging, which that shit ain't gonna make me look good, so who the fuck cares? Another product that I'm very bummed to have in this category is the Kat Von D Studded Kiss lipsticks with a new formula. I know this new formula is supposed to be so much better, but for me, each one of these was a fucking miss. The formula was just so inconsistent. It seemed like every shade did something different. It dragged, it was patchy, it just didn't look good, it feathered. There was just way too much inconsistency, which really saddens me because the packaging is beautiful, the shades look gorgeous, but they just don't perform well at all. And even after I heated them up by sitting on them, they didn't live up to their iconic reputation. They were a big disappointment to me. Like this right here is $80 worth of lipstick, and as much as I love these colors, the only ones that I'll probably ever reach for again are these two. I love weird colors, but if they don't perform well, it's more of a nuisance than anything. And our second to last product in this category is the Marc Jacobs Shameless Foundation. It's a damn shame that I bought this, I'll tell you that. But for real, it's not that this looks bad on the skin. In fact, it looks very, very pretty. The only issue that I have with this is the fact that you have to use so fucking much of this, and you don't get very much in this container at all. Like if somebody used this as an actual foundation every day, there is no way this would last you even a month. When we tested this out, I probably used like 1/10 of this bottle, which that's only gonna last you 10 fucking days. So it's not that this is a bad product, it's just not cost effective. effective. And finally for this category, we have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. This was actually one of the more expensive drugstore foundations. I think it was $14, and it did not look good at all on me. In fact, I think I remember saying it should be more like $5 or $6. I don't know if you're paying for the packaging or what, but it just didn't look good on me. I know that it does look good on a lot of people, so maybe it's just personal preference, but I remember it not looking that great. Like, it did a weird pilling thing on the edges of my nose, and it disappeared from certain areas of my face, and that was after just like 6 hours, and this says it's an all-day wear foundation. I call bullshit. I'm definitely not gonna give up on this brand though. I do want to try a few of their other products, but for me, this was a flop. Next up, we have our meh category, which contains all the products that I don't hate, but I definitely don't love them. I'm just kind of in the middle, but the first product we have is the infamous Kat Von D tattoo liner. I had a sample of this product, which I absolutely loved, so I went out and grabbed the full-size version, which is $20, and I'm not too impressed. You can get an excellent point, like it has an amazing tip on the end of this, which we all know I love a good tip, but this dries out so fucking quickly. Like, even before I get one eye done, it is dry to a crisp, and I have to like rub it out on my hand and shake it up just to get the ink back into the bristles. It's weird to me. Other than that, it is a good eyeliner, but when this runs out, I'm probably gonna shop around for a few others before replacing this one. Next, we have the ever so popular Lip Sense. Again, another product that I don't hate, but I don't love it, and I don't love it because it is kind of an ordeal to put on, but I also love it because you could literally give 50 blowjobs and this shit would still be on. I do really like their color selection, but personally, I would only reach for this once in a very blue moon when I need a lipstick that'll really last. Up next, we have this NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This actually looked pretty good on my skin. The only issue that I had was that it transferred like crazy. I think I remember that it also set my fine lines, but the transferring, oh, that was such a bitch. Like, with this on, there is no way I could even touch my face. Like, if anything rested on it, it would instantly come off or just wipe away. Like, I remember after filming this, watching TV and sitting like this, and when I got up to take this off, there was a big ass handprint of missing foundation on my face. And that's another big ass bummer because not only did this look banging on my skin, but NARS is a brand that I really fucking love. And what is this? The Box of Crayons palette. I know this palette, and I did have a little bit of a kerfuffle because it did give me a really bad reaction, but I also thought this palette was beautiful. Had my poor little sensitive eyes not had a bad reaction to this palette, this definitely would have gotten in my hell yes category. And I'm not sure, but I think what caused the reaction was the purple, but either way, this is just so fucking pretty, and honestly, I have not dipped into this since having the reaction, but I want to so badly. I think that especially for the price, it is beautiful, like you cannot beat it, but I just don't want to risk having another reaction like that. Another product that I'm kind of on the fence about is the Too Faced Life's a Festival palette. This palette was not bad whatsoever. I think the packaging is beautiful. It's got this fluffy little rainbow and a sparkly unicorn. The only issue I had with it is that a lot of these shadows are duochrome and they completely disappear depending on what way somebody's looking at you. It's honestly a little bit difficult to work with because the look that you think you created, it will definitely look different. It'll look different depending on the lighting, depending on the angle. It's a fun palette, but it's also not fun to work with at the same time, you know what I mean? And we're cracking on down to the last few items in this category. Up next, we have the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. This is actually a good foundation, just not for dry skin or semi-dry skin. Like, the moment any of your skin turns dry, this will instantly look like shit. To use this and have it look good, you either have to have somewhat oily skin or use a really long-lasting moisturizer, because even for me who doesn't have dry skin, I just have normal skin, this made my skin look like a fucking desert floor. But then if you do have a little bit more moisture in your skin, this is good. And our second to last product in this category is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam Palette. This was the first palette of theirs that I was actually able to afford and keep, and I'm not impressed, but I don't think it's their best work. I've used pretty much all of their similar palettes, and I just thought the quality was so much better. These didn't have like a super buttery luxe feel to them whatsoever. I mean, they are pretty colors, but that's pretty much all it has going for it. I know this product gets so much good attention, and it's not like it's a bad product whatsoever. I was just hoping for a little bit more oomph. And our last meh product is the Kat Von D Divine Palette. I love this palette, except for the sky blue right here. It totally ruined the entire palette for me. Like, this is one of the main mattes in the palette, and it didn't blend out worth shit. A few people did comment on my review of this palette saying that this blue blended out amazingly for them. No idea what the fuck kind of witchcraft they're using, but I could not get it to work for me. Otherwise, these other colors actually are really pretty, and they do work fine. It's just that main blue, big disappointment. And now let's move on to les favoris, my favorites, the hell yeses. First up, and I'm sure nobody's surprised with this shit, we have the Blood Sugar palette by Jeffree Star. I fucking love this palette, although the more that I use it, the more I'm noticing that pretty much every color blends out to be the same color, so there's really only like 3 shades in here. But still, I've been dying for years to get my hands on a Jeffree Star palette, and I finally got one. I love it. But the 4 or 5 times that I have used this palette, I have been able to create different looks, but you can really only do so much with it. But the quality is there. I absolutely love it. Another product I simply adore is by the Morphe Babe himself, the Morphe Bretman Babe in Paradise Highlighter Palette. I love this. In fact, I'm wearing 2 of the shades right now. Ooh, see that subtle glow? Daddy like. I know this palette is definitely geared toward the medium skin tone folk like myself, but the quality is so good. Like, I've used this so many times. I'm in love with it. The only issue that I had was with that brush. Don't care for that so much. In fact, it's right here, and I'm pretty sure it's a real hair, but the bristles are just like tearing in half. I don't like it. But this, I do like it. Another palette that I'm going simply apeshit over is the Violet Voss, the Rainbow palette. This is so beautiful. I've only used it a few times since reviewing it, but each time that I've used it, I was able to create something completely different than the last look, and I just love it. The pigmentation is great, the colors are fabulous, the quality is there. This was a good purchase. Another good purchase, and a cheap one at that, is the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation. This full coverage little bitch is changing the makeup world as we speak. Like, even the big ass beauty gurus are falling in love with this, and I gotta say, I am right on board with them. For some people, this foundation just doesn't work, but when it does work, oh fuck, it works. The finish of this foundation reminds me of my really good foundations like Givenchy and Dior, but this is so fucking affordable. This is hands down one of my all-time favorite foundations. I love the way it looks. Especially when I'm wearing this next product, which is the Dr. Brandt Porno More Luminizer Primer. I love this stuff. It makes my skin look so good. It doesn't necessarily make my pores look smaller, but it keeps my shit on all day. And because it's luminizing, it does have a tiny hair of shimmer in it. It almost reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow, but without the tint. It is a little bit expensive, but I definitely think it's worth the price. And our second to last product in this category, I don't think I've mentioned in a best to worst, but that is the Morphe 24G palette. I use the shit out of this palette. It is so versatile. Like, I can create so many looks with this, and it's really good quality. The pans are huge, and it's just the perfect glam palette. No matter if you're a pro or you're just beginning, this palette is so good to have in your collection. And finally, not that it's any more special than the other products I mentioned, I just happened to write this one down last, we have the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Palette. I have always wanted one of these, and I actually found this at Marshall's for $25, which is a good ass discount. I use this palette pretty much anytime I do my makeup. I use it to contour with, I use it to highlight with. I just think it's a really good palette. Even though I love the way cream contours look, I've kind of shied away from using cream contour palettes because powders are just so much easier to work with. You just put it on a chunky fan brush, sweep it on your face, and call that shit a day. This is totally a product that if I found more of these at Marshall's, I would stock the fuck up. But there you go. We went through a lot of damn products, holy hell. But thank you all so much for being here with me. Like always, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so that you're notified anytime I upload a new video. Don't forget my newest collection of highlighters, including Black Ice, which does change from black to white, is available at thepopluxe.com. Also, my latest album, Kiss of Fame, is available everywhere online that music is sold. Thank you so much to everyone who's supporting them. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter at OfficialNady, and you can follow me online at thepopluxe.com. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you again soon. Bye.